Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Scott Williams, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jim Valley. Today, we are pleased to have with us Professor Dave Lewis, DAU's Learning Asset Manager for the OLT course 7610, which is Fixed Price Incentive Firm Target Contracts. Welcome back to Contracting Conversations, Dave.
Thanks for having me back, Scott.
Absolutely. So we're excited to learn about 7610. So Dave, what can you tell us about this particular course?
Okay, this is on Fixed Price Incentive Firm Target Contracts, or FPIF for short. And in this lesson, we do a deep dive on these types of contracts. Okay, I'll start out with an introduction, just basically when are they situations for use? When are they good to use? And what kind of limitations do I have on the use of them? Then we get into the geometry of these things. And the geometry on incentive contracts is really, it is how the incentive lays out. Who is going to get how much at the end of the contract? So that's really, really important stuff, okay? Because that goes straight into how you structure these things. Then we have a chapter on risks and the risks inherent with trying to come up with good target cost and maybe a pessimistic cost, which is if everything goes bad, what's the worst it can be? And an optimistic cost, if everything goes great, how much could it cost? And the idea behind these types of incentive contracts, these predetermined formula-based type incentive contracts like an FPIF and a CPIFR, is that when the contractor comes in under the target, they make more profit, and it in total costs the government less, so both sides win. And when they come in over what the target cost was, when final cost is greater than what target cost was, they end up having to pay more. They lose profit. They have to pay more, and we have to pay more. So it incentivizes cost control. It incentivizes performance in that manner. Okay. Then in chapter 4, we get into some negotiating tips. How you negotiate these things. If a contractor is being obstinate in negotiations, what are some things you can do with the geometry to perhaps get them to move? So these can be very, very powerful. Changing the geometry in negotiations can be very powerful toward reaching agreement. And then finally, we wrap it up with contract administration, how we manage progress payments. Might want to do a post-award orientation conference because these contracts tend to be pretty complicated, and you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. That your DCMA brethren are all in on this thing. And then also, they can be kind of difficult to close out as well. So it's always a good idea to get the ACO involved as early as possible so they can inform you on how to structure it to avoid administrative nightmares when you got to close these things out. So with all of that, that's the course. And it does have a test at the end, and it's rated at about 4 hours or 4 CLPs. So it's a half a day time commitment, but it's a deep dive into these types of contracts. And when you're done at the end of it, you're going to feel like you're ready to go tackle one. So that's the course in a nutshell.
So one thing I want to talk about is these embedded videos that you have in these courses. What can you tell us about these? I know this is something you are very passionate about and really enjoy doing.
Yeah, we have several embedded videos here that I'm really excited about. We've got one on graphing an FPIF arrangement. We've got another one just on share ratios. The share ratios go to how much is the government, how much is the contractor sharing in any overruns or underruns to target cost. So, those are on a percentage basis, and each side, you add them up, have to add up to 100%. Also, there's some strange things that can happen to these arrangements where we call it aberrant geometry. So we have a video explaining how you can avoid getting an incentive arrangement where it just doesn't work right. You have some numbers that end up negative that don't make any sense. So we can help you stay away from that trouble. Also, we have a video on how you deal with competitive FPIF solicitations. And then finally, we have one on the DoD FPIF graphing tool. So it's an automated tool that it's Excel-based. It's got 3 different tabs that can help you establish and then negotiate your FPIF arrangements and keep track of the changes. And it will actually build a graph for you in Excel so you can keep track also visually with what's going on during negotiations, what changes are happening, what's happening with the geometry of the effort, and it can help very much lead to much better deals. So excited about all those videos. So thanks for asking about that, Jim.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, great, Dave. Really sounds like a very involved course and a very important course if you've got a contract that's going to be using a fixed price incentive arrangement. Looking at our target audience, I know besides folks that are working on these type of contracts, so what's our target audience overall in the contracting field and maybe outside the contracting field?
Well, I think that maybe program managers and some of the technical people might be interested in this, but to be frank, this is a pretty deep dive into FPIF contracts. So definitely your PCOs and your contract specialists out there, contract administrators, price analysts, auditors, those types of folks would be the key target audience for this. But again, program managers, anybody interested in incentive type contracts, there's always goodness in learning. So if you're a program manager and you think you're going to be dealing with the fixed price and an FPIF contract in the near future, I think it would be a really good idea for you to sign up for this and learn about these things. So that's pretty much the type of audience for Scott.
Great, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. So before we sign off today, is there anything else you want to talk about concerning this course?
No, just really excited about the opportunity to get to do a deep dive on FPIF contracts, put this material together, and hopefully it will help the field quite a bit in navigating these fairly complex contracts. So just looking forward to the opportunity. Thanks a bunch.
Well, it's great having you on the show. I know how much effort you and the team have done to put together all these courses. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This is all the time we have for today. But please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Contracting Conversations channel. Type any comments below to include your questions for discussion and spread the word of this channel to your peers and those you supervise or lead. You can subscribe on YouTube, DAU Media, and Apple Podcasts. So please do that so you get future video notification. Also, be sure to go on there because you will see all of our different assets. We have done recordings on all the credentials, just about. We've done on all the certification courses. And so that's where you can get information on that and other key topics, that source selection and other ones that we record. We look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.